question 3. The perimeter of the square is equal to the perimeter of the rectangle. The area of the square is 144. The length of the rectangle is 4 times the width of the rectangle. Work out the width of the rectangle. 4 marks. It's only question 3, so it shouldn't be that challenging. But if you're struggling to break it down and you're struggling to know what to do, just try and do something. Look at the first line, do something if you can. Second line, just try and do something. Break the problem down. So the perimeters are equal. Can't really do anything from that because we don't know any of the lengths. The area of the square is 144. So straight away, because this is a square, then you know this times itself must be 144. Well, what squared gives you 144? And that's 12. So we know that length and the width of the square must be 12, and that will get you some marks. It says the length of the rectangle is 4 times the width of the rectangle. So the length of the rectangle is 4 times the width of the rectangle. Well, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to work out the perimeter of the square. The perimeter all the way around of the square is 12 up times 4, which equals 48. So that's the perimeter of the square, which was also will be the perimeter of the rectangle because they're equal. And then it says the length of the rectangle is 4 times the width of the rectangle. So I think to make this a bit easier, and you don't have to do this, but the way I would do it is, because I know the perimeter is 48, I know that this length plus this length is half of that, half the way, so it's 24. This plus this is 24. And I know that this length is 4 times this length. So I've got 4 times to 1 time must add up to 24. Now you don't have to write ratio, but I'm going to do that. That's the ratio of the length to the width because it's 4 times that. So really we've got 5 parts that need to add up to 24. And that's the key here. You recognising that 5 parts have to add up to 24 because this is 4 times what that is. So if you can get 24 and divide it by 5, that gives you 5, 4, 20.8, so 4.8. Do it on a calculator if you want. So that's what one part is. So this one must be 4 of those, and this little width must be 1 of those. So the width of the rectangle, that's all it's asking for, is just going to be 4.8. If it asked for the length of the rectangle, that would be the 4 parts one. You would have to do 4 times the 4.8. So just to quickly review that, the area of the square is 144. So that means because it's a square, it must be something squared, gives you 144. So that's why the length of the square is 12. That enables us to work out the perimeter of the square, which is 12 times 4, which is 48. Because the perimeters are equal, then this rectangle must be 48 as well. And then one way of looking at this, there are other ways, but because the perimeter is 48, well, I'm just going to half it and say that this short width and the length is going to be 24. And because this long length is 4 times the width, that means we need to be able to get 24 and split it into 5 parts. 4 parts for the length, 1 part for the width. So that's why we did 24 divided by 5, which is 4.8. And then because it's only asking you the width of the rectangle, that's just the 4.8. You don't need to work out what this length is here. So there's 4 marks there, just a little bit of thinking you had to do. But then it's only question 3.